Hey guys, today I want to talk a little bit about ride sharing, grab, and finding rides, rentals. Um, Today I was out and about. We were over at the SM Mall actually, and we were getting ready to come back on the jeepneys, and the jeepneys were all they were backed up, really bad. There was probably like about a half an hour wait or more. We ended up we did get a ride back. We did try to get it grab first, and we waited about 15-20 minutes. We had a ride. We actually did have a ride, and the guy canceled. So I was a little bit ticked off about that, and I said, you know what, this is not the normal, because of the fact that it's the holidays. So I was thinking about, this would make a great vlog today. And I was thinking about all the times that we've actually caught grabs or we've hired taxis. And what we do is usually we go on to the grab site. It tells you the price. And sometimes there's a taxi nearby, and I'll show them. I'll say, hey, listen, Grab is saying this much. Will you drive me from here to there for the same price as what it says for Grab? Usually the taxi driver will say yes. Some cases they'll say no, but about 90% of the time they'll match Grab. They will match Grab because they're still making money, and they're happy about that. But anyway, I want to put that out there that most major towns and cities now have Grab. Now, it doesn't mean that they run 24/7. It doesn't mean that they're always there. It means that they're working. Grab is kind of like Uber and Lyft back home in the US and in other countries, okay? They did have, I believe they had Uber here, but something happened, and then I think Grab took over for them. And I actually like Grab because Grab is very reasonable. It's very decent. Grab does food deliveries too. Grab does a lot of stuff. Okay, it's they have a lot of good stuff on their app too. As far as ordering foods and things like that. But I want to talk about Grab because in my town, some days I can actually get Grab and get a ride around here, and then there's other days where you can't even get a Grab. Now I'm not just talking about Grab on here today. I want to talk about other stuff and other ways to get rides, because when you can't get a Grab, sometimes you can walk up to jeepneys, and you can, if they're around, and you can say, if you see them sitting there or they're idling or the guy's eating a meal or something, you can walk up to them and say, hey, listen, I need a ride. And this is more for long distance rides, because usually you can get a tricycle or a regular jeepney going to wherever you're going, provided that it's not all backed up like it was for me. But you can walk up to these people sometimes and you can make a deal with them and say, hey, listen, what would you charge me to ride from here to here? And just for me and my family, or just for me, how much would you charge me? And usually they'll give you a rate, and usually it's not a bad rate. But you have to remember, usually that jeepney drivers get a whole load of people. They're paying 20 pesos, 30 pesos, or whatever the going rate is. So you're going to have to make up that difference to him. Okay, if he's a regular driver. Sometimes they're off duty and they're just looking for a quick ride. They might be heading that way or whatever, and you can usually catch them. Now, when I was coming home, we talked to this guy, and we were talking to the driver because we need a ride tomorrow to someplace. So we decided we'd ask him what he would charge us, because we have a regular driver, but it was that he has 5 other people that work with him, and he's a good guy. He's a new guy that we have now working with us, and I guess they're backed up because of Christmas or whatever, so they're charging a little bit more, which is understandable. But the person that they gave us, what happened was, she gave us it was too high of a rate for the ride, because the ride was a quick ride. It's basically 40 minutes. They wanted 2,000 pesos or whatever. And I'm like, I'm not paying that much for that short of a ride. It's just a short ride from Tracy Martirez down to Tenza Oasis, where we're going. So this guy here, he gave us a good price. I was very happy about it, and the price that he quoted us saved us almost 40%, something like that, about 40%. So sometimes it pays to negotiate with people and find people out there, because sometimes people, if you think you're getting soaked on a price, find somebody else. Spend the time, and usually if you know that you're going to do something in advance, it pays to try to find somebody in advance, because then you can get your price down. Whereas if you're sitting there negotiating with somebody and you really, really need a ride, let's face it, that guy can pretty much dictate how much it's going to cost, and you're kind of stuck. And he knows that sometimes. And sometimes that might mean waiting in line for a jeepney ride or for a Grab to show up or become available. And that's the problem with that. The problem with Grab, though, is sometimes the waiting game. When we were there waiting, we had 2 people show up total, and one day canceled, 1 week canceled because it said 23-minute wait. I wasn't willing to wait 23 minutes. I might as well wait in the line and get on the jeepney, and it ended up, it paid off, like I said, because we found a driver for us for tomorrow. But when you're out looking for a ride, negotiate with people. Negotiate. Find drivers and say, hey, listen, can I hire you if I want to go someplace? If I want to go with a group or something like that, or if I want to go with 4 or 5 people, can I hire this jeepney is in private, and will you take me from here to, wherever, Pakistan, Hunt Falls, or wherever you're going? And it pays. It pays to do that, to have people out there network. And sometimes they might say, no, I don't do it, but I know a friend of mine that does do it. Do you want to hire him? Do you have air conditioning? Ask all those questions, because sometimes you want air conditioning. Obviously, if it's 95 degrees outside and you're in the city and it's really sticky and humid that day, obviously you're probably going to want a car with AC or whatever. That makes a big difference. And the difference between right now, it's December. It's cool here in the Philippines. It's in the upper 70s all day here. Upper 70s. It's cool. It's windy. I mean, right now it's getting late. The sun's getting ready to go down. But something, you don't need AC right now. So for me, I was okay without AC riding to where we're riding tomorrow. But anyway, I mean, for us, that's what we did to try to find a ride. Now, for tricycles and things like that, obviously, you take a regular tricycle, it's fairly cheap around town. But tricycle is not a thing to take for a long ride, because it's not fun. It's just not fun at all. Also, another way to finding rides is talk to people around your neighborhood. Say, hey, listen, whoever your neighbor is, or do you know anybody around here that would take us for a ride if we pay them? And make sure you're not overpaying. Figure out what it would cost. It's pretty easy to figure that out. If you think you're really getting overcharged, because remember, the ride really is the gas and the car rental, and the driver is usually fairly reasonable. The drivers don't make that much. If it's just a few hours drive, and then you shouldn't be paying too much. If it's an all day drive or something like that, obviously you're going to pay a lot more. I mean, I've gone on all day drives and paid probably less than $100 US, or 5,000 pesos. And I've gotten my money's worth, and that was with gas and everything in some cases, where the guy had to sit there, wait. He'd probably sleep, he'd sleep, if we went to the Mall of Asia, he'd sleep in the garage or whatever. We'd spend the day there, we'd eat, we'd go for a walk along the boardwalk, we'd come back, and the guy would be there waiting for us. And it's kind of nice having that, having somebody waiting there for you, and you can leave whenever you want. You just call or text the guy, and the guy comes wherever you are. So if you walk far away, or you're on the other side of the mall, or if you're walking around Manila, you just tell him, hey, listen, we're over here. We got kind of lost. Can you come pick us up? Usually they'll come pick you up. You can just send them a Google Map, link or whatever, and the guy will come pick you up. That's the great part about, hiring people in the Philippines, is a lot of people, they work really well. They know how. A lot of the drivers that I find here, they're very smart, intelligent people. They're good people, and they're just out. They're out to make $1 for the family or whatever. They're usually good people. We have a new driver now. His name is Ruben. Ruben is phenomenal. Ruben's a really, really good guy. And he's a guy who has a lot of network for us to help our expat community, and he's going to be a really great addition for us here in our group. But I just want to talk about that today, guys, because it kind of helps you guys, because this works anywhere. If you're out in the provinces, obviously it's a little bit harder to find rides. I get that. So sometimes a tricycle might be the only way to get into town or into the big city or whatever. It might be the only way. Or a motorcycle or a scooter or whatever, or borrowing somebody's car, or renting a car and driver or whatever. But usually in the city, you know what? You can find it anywhere. You can find a ride just about anywhere. You know, I can usually scrounge up a ride within 30 minutes, no matter where I am. I can get a good ride. I'm sorry, guys, I got a little bit of congestion today. But anyway, God bless, guys, and Merry Christmas. And I just want to wish everybody a really, really, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year coming up. I think we're going to have a great new year coming up as far as content and what we have going on here. I'm going to be slowing down a little bit as far as picking people up at the airport. I'm still going to be doing it. I'm still going to be doing the PRA stuff. I'm going to be doing that, but we're going to be slowing down on some things, some of the things that we've been doing in the past. But we're still going to keep the content coming up, and we're going to do some rehashes on the content. But I just want to thank you guys for subscribing and watching the channel. God bless, guys. Take care, and have a Merry Christmas, guys. God bless.